Horror fans can be brutal. The second a sequel tries something different or tries to be, a little quirky compared to its predecessor, then all of a sudden it's the worst movie ever made, an absolute steaming pile of dog shit. But some of these horror sequels that I'm going to talk about today actually rule and have some pretty awesome redeeming qualities. So today we're going to be looking at 3 horror sequels that, in my opinion, did not deserve the hate. Alright, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. I know I am, because today I get to tell you guys about 3 horror movie sequels that when they came out got a lot of shit and weren't very well received, and this video will likely result in me getting flamed and destroyed by true horror fans, because a lot of these movies have been called disrespectful to the original, have been called just straight up trash. But there's times where I enjoy trash, because my channel likely gets called that by plenty of people who just pass through and happen to see them with my wrinkly ass backdrop and bright ass light that makes my face look fucked up sometimes. So I feel like me and these movies have a lot in common, and that's why I feel like I'm qualified to talk about them today. So we're gonna skip this intro. As you know, Quick Cut Tuesday is meant to be pretty laid back and more spoiler free than my usual Friday reviews. However, there is a chance that in this video some minor plot points maybe get spoiled, or I talk about them in a little more depth than you want if you do happen to go out and watch these for yourself. So there's your spoiler warning. There's a chance there are mild spoilers. With that being said, let's talk about our first movie. Halloween Resurrection, released in 2002. I figured the best place to start this list was with the movie where Michael Myers gets drop-kicked by Busta Rhymes. Yes, that is a real sentence I just said, and yes, that is something that happens in this film. Yeah, it is obvious why maybe it gets a lot of shit, so I'm not doing this to say that I don't understand that and respect your position on that if you don't like it, but dude, when Busta Rhymes yells out, "Trick or treat, motherfucker," horror cinema peaked right there, and we did not even realize it, but that's far from being the best. Wait, how horrible did that sound with me that close to the mic?
Did it sound like this?
Hi, and sorry to all my headphone users. Love you guys.
Shut the fuck up!
I don't even remember what I was talking about. I have like ADHD, dude. I can't stay focused on anything. Oh, Halloween Resurrection, that's right. The live stream concept was way ahead of its time. This was before, Twitch or anything like that, where people were streaming 24/7, and now we're so desensitized and used to it. But this was ahead of its time. This is 2002, so I respect the movie for doing something different than just another Laurie versus Michael situation, or like he just goes in and kills a bunch of people. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all he does here, but at least everyone sitting at home can watch it through GoPros. The kills in this one aren't bad. Like most Halloween movies, it's mostly just knife stabs and Michael tilting his head after pinning someone to a wall with a chef's knife. But, this movie's dumb, sure, but is it horrible? Absolutely not. You should definitely check it out. I think if you just want to watch something that doesn't take itself seriously, and it's just a lot of fun and just a pretty basic slasher, I would definitely check out Halloween Resurrection, because I find myself watching it more often than I probably should. Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation from 1995. Now, have you ever seen a movie that just makes you feel like you took bad acid and you've been tripping this whole time? Because that's exactly what this movie is. Probably not as hated as Halloween Resurrection, but this movie's crazy, and I gotta defend it, because it pretty much just says, hey, let's give Leatherface a government job and a robot leg. The movie's unhinged in the best way. It's pure 90s chaos, and it almost borders on being a parody long before meta horror was, made big by other big names. Okay, we're gonna pause for a second. This is me editing this video you're currently watching in the future. Editception. I had to come on here and address something real quick, because I realized as I was watching this back that one of my jokes didn't quite land. A lot of them don't land, but I noticed this one didn't, because I made the joke about Leatherface having a government job and a robot leg. I fucked that up. I remembered incorrectly, even though I just rewatched this recently for this. I forgot that it wasn't Leatherface that had the robot leg. It was another member of the family that had a robot leg, and I was just an idiot and messed it up. So I want to address that before anyone who sees this goes in the comments and says, oh, well, it wasn't Leatherface. Shut up. I addressed it. Back to not future Mitch. Back to the video. The cast is good. You got Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger, who both starred in this and then spent the rest of their careers pretending that they never did. And the kills aren't bad either. They definitely help this movie out a lot, because unlike Scream and Halloween and movies like that, where most of the kills are knife wounds, with a few exceptions, but most of them are just people getting stabbed, you go to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series and there's a lot more variety there. So I think having interesting and pretty graphic kills, actually, by 90s standards, helped this movie a lot and makes it a pretty memorable one for me. So, you know, again, a movie that's dumb but not bad, which is going to be the case for all of these. But I said it before, I'll say it again. If you want something not lighthearted at all, the movie's graphic as hell, but if you want something fun and you don't really have to follow a story, you could pretty much get up, go do the dishes, take a shit, come back, and you wouldn't have missed anything important, because there's not much of a story at all. But it's a lot of fun, and if you haven't seen it, check it out. If you have seen it, tell me what you think of it down below. Real quick, before we continue with the last and probably most controversial movie on this list, I'm going to take a minute to plug my Instagram. My Instagram, it's up here on the screen right now. Follow me there, and on TikTok is also going to be on the screen too. Follow me on those places. I don't have Twitter, or I don't use Facebook or anything like that, but for you, when you want updates when I'm not posting, so you know, every other day of the week except Tuesday and Friday, head over there, because I'm always posting new horror news and other stuff that I, just do in my personal life. But I'm always posting video updates as well, and taking, doing polls and taking ideas on what people want to see next. So check out my other social media, and also I'm going to just say a little cheeky subscribe if you haven't yet. That said, let's talk about Blair Witch 2016 and my opinion on this, which is going to get me crucified and stoned. I know this movie got roasted for being a so-called lazy reboot, but I rewatched it, and honestly, it's a lot better than people give it credit for. I know one of the big things that people were shitting on was the use of drones and GoPros, but it's like, the movie was made and takes place in 2016, so people aren't going to be walking around as much anymore with those fucking cameras where you put the disc in the side and it like records onto the disc. I don't know why I had to act that out, but you know what I'm getting at. It's found footage, but with a tech upgrade. Like, it's the 4K version of running through the woods and screaming. Not to mention, this movie gave us the loudest twig snaps in horror history. You hear that, and you know that somewhere out there, the sound guy is just flexing and talking about how good a job he did mixing in scary sounds. It was directed by Adam Wingard, who did You're Next and The Guest, so it does have like real horror chops behind it. What else? I mean, there's the sound design and atmosphere are top tier. To a degree, this is gonna get me killed, but almost scarier than the original in the... I won't say it. But this movie did expand on the original Blair Witch lore in really creepy and creative ways, and didn't just rip off the original, so I gotta give it credit for that. If you kind of ignore how iconic the original is and pretend it doesn't exist at all, on its own, standalone, this would be a great, genuinely terrifying found footage movie. So Blair Witch 2016, pretty highly recommend, actually. So yeah, not every horror sequel is a masterpiece, and I understand a lot of them are big steaming piles of doo-doo, but I think there's plenty that don't get the love they deserve and actually do, have some really good qualities about them. So, with that being said, what hated horror sequel do you think got treated unfairly? Tell me why, and tell me what it is in the comments down below. I respond to all of them. I will go down there, and if you want to argue about horror movies, let's go down there and argue about horror movies. I do pretty much nothing but this all the time, which is sad. As always, thank you all so much for watching and supporting. If you made it this far, thank you for watching another Quick Cut Tuesdays, because this is a lot of fun and a lot easier to, keep some content rolling while I'm working on the big full production Friday reviews. I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all Friday for a movie that was crazy and violent and all the good things, so I can't wait to talk about it. That being said, keep it creepy, and I'll see you next time.